Welcome back, metalheads. Today, I'm spinning the wax with Thérèse Lanz of Calgary's Mares of Thrace, and we're listening to We Won't Make It Home by Hungarian post-metal instrumental band HEGY. Don't go anywhere, it all starts right now. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Spinning the Wax, where we listen to your favorite artists' favorite records. I'm John StayPuft Garcia, aka the heaviest mallow in the universe, and your friendly neighborhood headbanger. On today's episode, I'm proud to host Thérèse Lanz, one half of the sludgy and doomy duo Mares of Thrace, alongside her friend and drummer Casey Rodgers. Thérèse brings on a record from instrumental post-metal band HEGY, that's H-E-G-Y, which is a Hungarian word for mountain, and it's a band that she and Casey are so obsessed with that they're actually concerned that the band members think that they may be stalking them. But nevertheless, they never pass up an opportunity to shout out this band ever since they discovered them on a European tour a few years ago. Thérèse talks about HEGY opening for Mares of Thrace in Budapest while Mares was on their first ever European tour, and how she and Casey were so instantly enthralled with the band and their sound, even going so far as to telling them after the show that they were the best band that she had ever seen. Of course, the band actually thought she was fucking with them a little bit because they're a hyper-local band with only 64 monthly listeners on Spotify and less than 400 followers on Instagram. Nevertheless, they blew Thérèse away, and she has not been able to stop talking about them ever since. She walks us through her favorite parts of the album, the great decade-long Mares Hiatus, what brought her back into playing music, and how she wrote their newest album, The Loss, while living through the stages of grief that the record details. We also have a big bonding moment together as we share our experiences as two elder millennials diagnosed with ADHD later in life. And as you can imagine with that, the conversation splits into a dozen different tangents and directions, but we hope that it helps anyone who either is neurodivergent or suspects that they're neurodivergent into feeling a little bit less alone. If you're a fan of Mares of Thrace, HEGY, or interviews and heavy metal in general, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, consider leaving a comment, and maybe head over to patreon.com/spinningthewax, where you can support the show directly. So, let's get into this, everyone. This is episode 23 of Spinning the Wax, where Thérèse Lanz of Mares of Thrace listens to We Won't Make It Home by HEGY. Please welcome Thérèse Lanz to Spinning the Wax. Thérèse, so good to have you. How are you doing today? Recovering from a week in bed, it sounds like.
Things are okay. What really buoyed me through this was being flat on my back in bed with the covers pulled up to my chin at my own Bandcamp listening party.
Oh God!
And it was wonderful. I've never done one of those before. And there was a moment where I was kind of nervous, like a 6-year-old waiting to see if anybody would show up to my birthday party. No, there was tons of people there, and it was wonderful. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I love that, and thank you so much for talking to me on release day of all things. I know, again, you're feeling ill leading up to that, so I'm sure that you weren't going to be doing too much partying and celebrating after this week anyway. But how are you feeling now that the album is out? You've been doing your rounds of press, and now this thing that you've worked on for a while is now in the hands of the world. What are these types of feelings that you always feel whenever you release an album?
It's just great. Ooh, big eloquence points over here.
Yeah, done. That's it. We'll wrap it up, everybody. We're good. Yeah.
I've discovered that the reason that out of all of my endeavors, music has just been consistently the most satisfying is because it's such a wonderful vehicle to connect with people. And so every time we put something out, it's like my tentacles are reaching into the world and touching all kinds of people. And like the cooler and bigger platform we get, and like the more we grow as a band, the more tentacles I get, and the more I can just slimily slither all over more cool people, and it's really really rewarding. It's so rewarding to have. The most rewarding thing in the world is to have somebody say, "Hey, your art made me feel a feeling."
Especially with this music as you know, raw and intense as it is. I mean, I think that is the vehicle for that, right? I mean, like as creatives and as, you know, weirdos into heavy screamy music and like loud stuff and everything like that. It is always good to have even just like one other person be, you know, have a state of mind or an emotion or just something that you can connect with to feel less alone in the world, which is, I know the reason why I listen to and connect to a lot of music is because sometimes it feels like that artist is in a place that I thought that I was the only person in, but we're not, you know, because we're human, right?
The more, because people are always terrified of being vulnerable, but I've been very real about a lot of the things that inspired this record, and I've discovered that the more real, like the more I lay bare, it's not, people don't scoff. If anything, more people come forward and say me too. Really good. Probably the best example of this is track number 4 on our new record. I have been quite upfront now, like introducing it when we play it live. I said this is going out to anybody whose immigrant parents did their best and still fucked them up. Without fail, somebody will come up to me afterwards and like high five me and be like, "Me too, dude."
So before we get into this pick today, I also am curious. So the last album, The Exile, came after a pretty long hiatus away when y'all weren't even sure if you were going to even like be playing music again and stuff like that. So how has it felt to release a album, you know, pretty close, pretty close to putting something out a few years ago?
Coming back to playing music made me think, why did I stop? Well, I know why I stopped. I stopped because my previous drummer was like, "Yeah, I'm over this rock and roll shit and I need to grow up and try and have a normal job." And I thought, well, I guess maybe I should do that too.
Who among us, right?
Well, the wonderful thing is I thought I was the only person, and again, a theme we've got going here. A lot of my age cohort are doing the same thing. A lot of my age cohort are realizing, nah, actually being in a band is awesome. And it's who I am. It wasn't something I did. It's something I am that's always going to be there. And, you know, as long as I have something even close to the means, I'm going to keep doing it.
I love that. And I know that myself and a lot of other people are very happy with that because we get to, benefit from the fruits of that labor and that decision.
Also, just a wonderful heartening thing is that a lot of my colleagues and like a lot of people I really like whose output I really look up to, the stuff that they're putting out now after a hiatus is not like corny or a victory lap or trying to beat a dead horse. It's like the freshest and most vital shit they've done. A good example of this is Julie Christmas's new record.
Oh, it's so good. It's
so good.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing she's done. And like Battle of Mice is in my Desert Island top 10. And I like the new thing better.
Wow. Yeah, I was floored with it because I hadn't been familiar until about like just after COVID times when I was like going down a Cult of Luna rabbit hole, and I was like, you know, her album with Mariner introduced me to her stuff, and I went down a rabbit hole with her, and yeah, I don't. I could talk about that record probably all day. It's so fucking good.
Shit, maybe we should listen to that one.
Yeah, I'll go do a hiatus or a audible on that one. No, but I love to hear that, and I think obviously we're in a time right now that breeds creativity, and people want to get out of their heads and do something and get out of whatever emotions they feel like, because there's a lot of really bad shit going on in the world and really stressful things going on in a personal day-to-day for a lot of people. So I'm glad to hear that you've come around to this idea of thinking like, fuck, why did I even leave this in the first place? And also feel, rewarded and happy with the decision that you're doing. Because I think that is huge, right? You don't want to be forced to do something that you don't want to do.
I could not. I guess I'm trying to think of in what circumstance would a musician be forced to do it again. But there are many scenarios. There's contractual reasons, and there's like, I spent all of my money on cocaine, so we're gonna snap the band back together and like try
exactly roll it back, everybody.
Exactly. So no, this. I mean, this is doing things on our level. It is by necessity the labor of love, and it certainly still is.
Of course. Well, that is great, and I'm sure that I will have plenty more questions to ask you about the loss and the band and everything like that. But we're here to listen to a record together, something that nobody, Thérèse, does anymore. But I do it, and I do it with people on the stream, and it's a amazing experience here. And this band, I have to say, I was not familiar with until you brought it forth in front of me, and I'm very excited to dig into this with you. So I believe I'm going to pronounce this band name wrong so much because hedge.
Hedge is Hungarian for mountain.
Yes, and I did the translator, and it was like the Google robot was like "hey yeah" or something like that. So, but I was like, it sounds like hedge, so that's just what I'm gonna go with.
I have to preface my choice of this record. Casey and I like this band so much. I'm kind of worried that we're weirding them out.
Okay. So they're gonna see this pop up on YouTube and be like, "Oh fuck, not again."
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's go.
They're like, I see our Canadian stalkers are at it again. Here's the backstory. Casey,
yes, please. This is what I was gonna ask.
We toured Europe in 2023, late 2023. For the first time, actually. It had been a life goal of mine, and it happened in our second act. It was amazing. So we played Budapest, and the local opener is this band, and they look like some nice like Hungarian fellas. They start playing, and so just some backstory on Casey and I. Casey comes from a very prog tech shred world, and I'm sure he hates me bringing this up all the time. And I come from like punk and hardcore and noise rock.
Mm-hmm.
So bands that make both of us put our phones down and beeline for the front of the stage are actually not that common. Him and I stood, and we were tired, like we were all jet lagged and fucked up and stuff. We were tired. We stood like at the front of the stage, and I cried at one point because of how good this. Like I cried there in the pit. I cried.
Wow.
And afterwards, I went up to the guitarist and I said, "Hey, you're one of the best bands I've ever seen. Like, not one of the best bands we've ever played, one of the best bands I've ever seen." And he looked at me like he thought I was fucking with him. Ever since, like, we've been shouting them out as often as possible. And I don't think they have any plans to tour or anything. But like, I also asked the dude, I was like, "Did you bring merch? Because I will buy everything you made."
Yeah, one of everything, like, two of a couple of things.
We have merch. I forgot it. But it's just, I guess one of my favorite parts of touring is just getting exposed to this incredible music I would have never found otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the same goes for going to shows and stuff like that, and which is why I try, and of course I'm not always successful with this, but I always try and either arrive early to check out the openers or at least give them a cursory listen beforehand, because you never know what type of band sometimes are going to be opening for some of these people. And I imagine that this is probably the first time that you've fallen in love that hard with someone that you just like because they were just like the local openers, right? They were nowhere else on this tour that y'all did. That's crazy.
I first of all, the people who go who make a point to check out the openers are doing God's work. Unless I'm booking the tour myself, I do not really vet or like check out any bands beforehand, because I also love being surprised.
Yeah.
I have definitely fallen in band love a number of times, and it's great. But this is definitely one of the standouts.
Yeah, so this is a whole nother level. So for people who haven't heard Hedge, what would you prepare them for, and why would you say that their music really? You're talking about those tentacles, right? How did they wrap those tentacles around your musical heart?
So another band that Casey and I vehemently agree on is Russian Circles.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah.
Like if you listen to our band, obviously we like Russian Circles. And Hedge is okay. So the thing that I love about Russian Circles is that they are equal parts beauty and just heavy, brutality, heavy evil, like beautiful and somber, but also with that menace. Hedge are you take the beauty knob and the menace knob and you both turn them up by about 20%.
Yeah.
And like what impresses me is that crushing heaviness of emotion. And what impresses Casey the most is dazzling craftsmanship.
Mm.
And they sure check both of those boxes. Even like the record is incredible, but even that, to me, the best compliment you can give a band is you're better live. And
Mm.
the record slaps, but like just the pure majesty of this band live, just oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah, no, because I've seen those types of bands too, where it's like it stops being just like four musicians on stage, and instead there is just like some entity floating around the room that wouldn't exist there without those people all at the same time. And I mean, it's magic. I say this all the time, that I think that music is magic in a certain sense, especially when people resonate with it. And I could see, I've given this a very quick cursory listen, and I could see that there is just so much there that is going to be picked up even after like 10, 15, 20 listens.
Also, in both like music and visual art, I am an enormous appreciator of space.
Mm.
People who do not have a really refined, mature sensibility, I guess, want to fill the space constantly with like shredding, like, oh, look how many notes I can play. But to me, mastery is just letting your shit breathe.
Mm.
And that's another thing this band just nails, like just these beautiful spaces. Certainly like immense technical proficiency too, but also the restraint to let the spaces breathe.
Yeah, that's a great word. And I mean, we'll get right into it with the first song because it builds over time, and they just like, they don't throw you in, or it's just like, okay, so like we're here and we've got the good sounds, but just like wait a little bit. And then before you know, it's like, shit, we've been here for like 7 minutes and we're still going. And it hasn't felt like that much time. I thought this album went by incredibly fast for it being like like a 58-minute record or something like that. It's just like being able to utilize both that restraint and that space that you say, but also make time fluctuate, I think, or just like warp you in time, I think is another one of those like magical properties in certain bands.
Yeah, Doom gets a lot of flack for being slow and long and repetitive, but long form slow bands who make you feel like wrapped, like absolutely riveted, and the time flies by. That's how you know they're doing a good job, for sure.
Yes, I think so too. So is there anything else that you want to say about this record or to prep people for before we hit play on this guy?
Oh yeah, spoiler. Each of our records, because Casey and I have such a broad range of influences that like everything we do, like all our records are a bit of a shit mix of influences. This band Casey loves instrumental music.
Mm-hmm.
This was the record that made me go, what if we did a post-metal record next time? It's not going to be instrumental, but I'd love to leave a little bit more space with the vocals.
Yeah.
So like this was the record that made me go, maybe we'll go a little in this direction for the next one.
Fuck yeah. If you're ready, I'll count this down and we'll get this thing started.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So this is We Won't Make It Home. I believe this was 2019 album, or 2019 by Hedge. We're going to play this in 3, 2, 1, play. There you go. And right away, this bass tone, obviously just because from when I grew up and because they're a huge popular band, I got immediate like Tool bass tone right away from this right here.
Yeah, I feel that. And the bonk snare tone. First time, like, that's an interesting choice, but don't worry, shit's gonna get gnarly in a minute.
I just love this too about, I'm relatively new to, exploring into post-metal and especially instrumental post-metal and stuff like that. But I have found, especially as I've gotten older, this type of stuff where you can just like put on headphones, dim the lights, close your eyes, and then just let this, I don't know, like these musicians carry you away in this like caressing canoe down this river of sound and melody and noise and everything like that is just very cool when pulled off extremely well. And like the fact, again, just the drums are starting to really expand a little bit more than they did. And we're 4 minutes into this song so far. And it's still building.
I think that like letting something the slow burn, like the slow build, is a lost art in this day and age.
Mm.
There we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I think that instrumental music is often band music a lot. Yeah, Casey loves instrumental music, and he's a fucking nerd. We're both fucking nerds, but like he's one of the people who doesn't really powerfully connect with lyrics, whereas good lyrics immediately hook me.
Yeah.
But I wonder, I have no perspective on this because I play music, but I'm always curious about why a non-music person connects with like a human voice more than instrumentals.
I don't know. Maybe it has to deal with the fact that if they're saying in a language or just hearing an emotion come through, right? Like if someone sounds sad or angry, that's going to connect with them maybe more so than even just like a really nice chord progression.
I see is it a Jackson behind you there?
Yes, that's I've had this guitar for so long. It's a dinky, and it needs to move it around. God damn it. You can see my dog too. There you go.
Glimpses of the dog are always appreciated.
Yeah. I've got my acoustic over here too. I keep them around here because I don't play music nearly as much as I would like to nowadays. Just with so much going on, and it feels like, oh no, I can make 30 minutes to sit down and like strum my guitar, and then the end of the day I'm just like, I thought that would have been a lot easier. But I keep them around in different rooms to make me see them all the time and make me want to like, let me just like grab this and doodle for a little bit, and it helps.
Hard same, like this might sound odd, but Casey and I haven't jammed it. We've just been busy. Like we have a big secret project coming up that I can't talk about yet, but okay. I'm gonna turn my webcam around here.
Oh yeah, look at that. So she's showing me that looks like a Jaguar.
That's actually my Firebird Studio.
Firebird, okay. Yeah, there you go, acoustic guitar. And then what was the other stringed instrument that was next to the acoustic?
That is a Häxeschit.
Oh shit.
So, okay, here it goes. Shit's getting real.
Yeah.
Hedge shit is getting real. During the pandemic, I still lived in Halifax, Canada, which is just north of Maine, opposite side of the continent.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for me, it's like when post-metal bands kind of like let up for a second, that space that you were talking about, and they just stop. You know that shit is about to get real.
One thing Casey and I both love is dynamics. Like,
yes, yeah.
We have almost no songs that are fast all the way through, or slow all the way through, or even like heavy all the way through, or like quiet all the way through. This is just God, I just want to just punch a hole in the drywall.
Remind me to ask you about that. I want you to finish telling me the story that you're talking about, but yes. I do have a specific question about dynamics in a little bit. But you were telling me, so you were living in Halifax, Nova Scotia, a little bit before the pandemic.
It was during the pandemic, and this was during the Great Hiatus. Mares had not become a thing, but I was just desperate to play music. Like I just don't feel complete if I'm not. But I didn't have like a ton of band friends there, so I thought, like, I don't know, what if I did like just a project I could do by myself? And I was listening to a lot of medieval. Oh, a kitty. A lot of medieval and folk music at the time. And I thought, what if I did like a weird, there's so many people doing very interesting, heavy adjacent things in this space.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like, what's the neo-folk?
Yeah.
I'll avoid the shit that's Nazi adjacent, sure.
Of course, yes.
But there's specifically a Swedish or a Scandinavian bowed instrument called the talharpa, which is like it's like almost like a very proto violin that's bowed. And I got so addicted to the sound of it, but then I thought, what if I investigated my own European heritage and like got something out of there instead of lightly culturally appropriating the Swedes? And the result was the Häxeschit. My dad is Swiss, so like born and raised.
Okay.
And yeah, the Häxeschit is from the Alps, and the name means witch's board.
Witch's Borg?
Witch's board.
Witch's board. Oh, that's cool. That could be a doom metal band name to begin with, right there.
Oh, I know, right?
Hell yeah.
But what really hooked me is it's what's called, at least the Wikipedia page I was reading about it, It's what's known as a lumpen instrument, which means it's an instrument of the rabble, not like the refined nobility. Like
the rabble, interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like a peasant's instrument almost. Yeah,
precisely.
yeah. Fuck
And
yeah, yeah. Solidarity. Let's go.
I love that because you know what, the elites can all, especially with what's been going on recently, they can all get the guillotine.
Yeah. They can have their fucking Hammond organs and their harps and everything like that. I'll stick with all of my peasant instruments. I love that.
Yeah, the guitar was a peasant instrument initially.
Yeah.
Initially a peasant instrument, and it was the classical guitarist Andres Segovia back in the day he flexed, and I quote, that he rescued the guitar from the noisy hands of the flamenco players. Like, fuck you, Andres Segovia. Like, honestly, fuck you. Check out the blast beat, and then the space. Like, the guitar's just taking up space. Like, or just like, just these, what's the, lacuna is the word that I was looking for. Like, fuck, I love that word. It's why Lacuna Coil picked it for their name, I'm sure. Like, just these,
of course,
these beautiful emptinesses.
I also love that ride right there. I love a ride with a blast.
Oh yeah, Bella the ride on the blast. That makes me purr. Somebody once watched a vid of I posted a vid of one of our songs in which Casey plays a blast, and somebody on Instagram referred to it as his 90-degree shit blast, and that was one of the best descriptions I've ever heard.
Yeah, I love it. 90-degree shit blast. Let's go.
Casey is so good at drums that it's almost become like a running joke. Like, a friend of mine in Detroit messaged me after we played with his band. He was like, Trez, your drummer's too good. Tell him I said to fuck off.
Well, like, yeah, and I was in the new record. There was a lot of times where I was having trouble picking up the ones, or like trying to see, like, is there syncopation going on here? I'm not a time signature person unless it's like 3/4, 4/4, 6/8. It's like, those are the ones I've got down. Everything else I have no fucking idea. But I was just like, I don't understand how this dude is going through this, and yet the music still sounds like as linear and like put together as it should. That's one of the things with when drummers go hexacore, really, it fucking blows my mind.
He does one of my favorite things, which is when we play weird time signatures, it still grooves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's I can't say enough good things about Casey. He's just the best bandmate. Like, he's the best. Like, it's like being in a band on easy mode. Also, because like emotional stability, like that's a rare attribute among talented people, to be quite honest.
Yeah. And because, so you all had known each other for a while, correct? But he was, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was like stepping in after the hiatus to really kind of help get the wheels on the project going back again, yeah?
This is okay. So me and Casey's history is way back in the day, like his like prog band and my punk band played together.
Mm-hmm.
And we just became friends because they were all huge sweethearts. And Casey was in a political
Yeah, dude.
or chugs, like the whole reason I play electric guitar is to chug. Where was I? Oh, right. Casey was in a political death grind band with a bunch of Calgary scene legends, and the guitarist the singer moved away, and he thought, I'm gonna ask my friend Trez to try out, see if it's a good fit. So we were in a political death grind band together for a couple years, and this was like in 2008. But like we've been best friends ever since, and he kept bugging me and Steph, Mares' first drummer, to join on bass. And I was like, nah, dude, Mares is a two-piece. We love you, but Mares is a two-piece. And at the time, he didn't want to tour anyway. So then we went on hiatus, and Steph and I vainly tried writing The Exile Long Distance, but we were just too busy, and it just didn't work. And so I gave up eventually. And then Casey, out of the blue, one day said to me the magic words, do you want to finish the Mares record with me on drums and bass, because it would be a shame to waste good riffs? And I was like, oh, my like super baller of like a shred fiend friend thinks my fucking slow punk rock riffs are good. I guess I have to finish this record. And then in quick succession, we finished the record. I ended up moving back here. We were like, I guess we can give it a shot being a live band. It was so fun and so cool, and everybody got so excited. We were like, I guess we can try going on tour. And the rest is history, question mark?
Yeah, we're living it right now.
Yeah, I was not anticipating, first I was not anticipating people still giving a shit. That's just gravy, you know, like if you like what you're doing, other people liking it is just gravy ultimately.
Of course, yeah.
But golly, is it delicious gravy. And I was also not sure if we were going to enjoy touring together. He'd never really toured before. I was not sure if I would enjoy touring at this stage in life.
Yeah.
Our first couple tours were so fun that we were both sad to come home from them.
That's huge. That's huge.
And I'm not going to call it a lead because it's not really like a guitar solo, but like just this beautiful meandering high line here.
The vibrato on that is kind of making the note sing all on its own, you know, which is this really cool thing, especially after that like really heavy riff. This song Hydra, this is the second song of it. Like, holy shit. Fuck. This is good too because this isn't an exact like first listen, but this is also like my mind is going to pick up a lot of things that I didn't get through the last time around or that I just like wasn't paying attention to or anything like that. That part is one of them. This whole like halftime like swing in it too, because that's that emotion that you were talking about where despite it being instrumental, you can still pick up, emotions and feeling from the riffs and the chords that they're playing.
I would say the lead guitar there is it's singing. It's like a voice singing.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge guitar solo fan generally because I'm from the 90s. But that's exactly how I like them. Do you have a Paisley tattoo?
I do, yeah, actually. I'm surprised that you popped that up from just seeing it. Yeah, I don't remember if this is from a single or not, but I saw this on his like art portfolio, and I wanted a Baroness tattoo without getting like an album Baroness tattoo. So I got this one instead.
I find JD absolutely aspirational in the sense that being both a visual artist and a musician, he somehow managed to basically define the visual vocabulary for an entire subgenre.
Right? Yeah, seriously. I literally just saw Baroness on Sunday on their Red and Blue tour. I was up in Boston for my cousin's wedding, and they were playing the next day. And I never miss an opportunity to go see them, and they were fucking great. It was great.
When Ken Moda and Violet Creature toured with Baroness, Violet Creature's drummer couldn't make it, so Casey filled in. So Casey toured with Baroness.
Hell yeah. I love that.
Yeah, we got to hang out with them a little bit. They're such sweethearts. Like they're lovely people.
Yes, I've interviewed Gina before, and I've talked to a couple of them after like shows and stuff like that. I have nothing but good things to say from like my experiences and everything like that.
Gina's probably like the sweetest. What a sweetheart. What a lovely person. Every now and then, when somebody at the merch table asks who does our visual art, I say me, and sometimes people will say, oh, you're like John Dyer Baisley, and I'm like the John Dyer Baisley you ordered on Temu, maybe. But like, anyway, it used to be Wish.com, but that's kind of that reference is passe, you know.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's just the straight up fights. It's a palette cleanser, like the straight ahead mid tempo rock and groove.
Yes, that's the sequencing in this after such a heavy song, and now you've got this fuzzy bass riff coming on, and it's almost bouncy guitar part right here with the way that they're playing it. Also, a certain logic in sequencing a record, I think, in the age of Spotify, is becoming a lost art too. Yeah, I am such a sequencing nerd. That I love just talking about how people have put their record together and like the different versions that they had before they settled on the one and everything like that. Our record is 100% contingent on the logic of its sequence because it's based on the stages of grief. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. A thing about the stages of grief is, did you watch The Simpsons? Like, did you ever watch old Simpsons? Oh, yes, of course. I grew up on the old Simpsons.
Me too. Millennial high five.
Yeah.
When Homer Simpson eats the fugu fish and he goes through the stages, but very fast and randomly in random order.
Yeah.
That's what it is like for everyone, but
Mm.
there is definitely a logical sequence on our record. So, and I'm not like scolding people if they listen to it on shuffle. Of course not. But
No, of course not.
I would love for people to listen to it at least once all the way through.
What was the thought process when trying to create this album when you're first starting to make the music and everything like that? As far as like, I get why you structured the album the way that you did eventually, but how did you get to that point to say like, this album is going to be about loss and grief and we're going to structure it in the way that, you know, the stages kind of go?
Oh, there's a brutal answer to this. I wrote them in real time as I was going through each of the stages.
Yeah.
It's very dark and it's very heavy, but I'm a very happy, cheerful person. And there is room in the human heart for both. So
yeah, of course.
I can talk about all this shit and I got a big old smile on my face because like getting it out helped me get here. Like
that's exactly what I was going to say, like getting it out into the music and hearing again, because I can hear that those stages of grief in in your voice in the record, right? So it's like that was still helping you go through everything. Like I imagine that helps immensely to, you know, express yourself and have that outlet to be able to do that. So it doesn't surprise me that you could be like, hey, this like shitty downer depressing like an album that I wrote, like let's laugh and have a good time and smile while we're talking about it and listening to it, you know?
Yeah. Like I just posted on Instagram, being silly is a wonderful defense against the grim specter of mortality.
Yeah, I kind of think of it as a form of resistance right now, you know, just like having a fuck you smile on your face in spite of everything else going on is its own form of like rebellion, you know?
I would say that is actually kind of my life motto in a way.
Hell yeah.
There's an excellent band called Less Art. They're a super group. I think it's members of Thrice and a couple other people. They have a song called Optimism is Survival. And I also, optimism as survival and also joy as resistance, joy as defiance, especially for like if you belong to a marginalized group of any kind, including, I would say that the working man or woman or the non-binary person, if you're working stiff right now, you are marginalized.
Yes.
And us thriving is defiance, us being happy and doing well. Oh, it's the biggest middle finger imaginable.
Yes, exactly. With everything trying to, you know, beat all of us down, just trying to live our lives, you know.
Yep.
So this actually brings me around to something we had talked about that I wanted to return to, which in the song, lots of dynamics. Which you are preaching to the choir when it's, you know, like, yes, I love my fucking like Cannibal Corpse and shit like that, like your stuff that you know what you're gonna get, your Motorhead, your Monomarth, but also I love music with the shades of light and dark, and you know, good and evil, you know, all of that different stuff. What have you learned about dynamics as both a musician trying to make music that doesn't sit still for one particular thing, and what have you learned from the music as from dynamics as a you know, an artist listening to music like this that you love so much?
So I was diagnosed relatively late in life with the most severe possible kind of ADHD. Like the
hell yeah, I just got medicated last year
you know what? All my homies take the legal speed.
Yeah, I'm not on the speed, thankfully. I'm on Strattera or atomoxetine, which is a non-stimulant ADHD medication, but it has been helping. I suffer from anxiety a lot, and I figured my doctor, my psychologist, and I were all like, let's maybe not try the speed yet to see if the non-speed works, and it did.
If it can stims can definitely make you a little anxious.
Yeah.
Strattera didn't work for me, but a lot of people I know love it.
Yeah.
There's also the 8 weeks of waiting to see if it works.
Yeah, that's been the worst part, and like literally it has taken most of a year for me to kind of like figure out the or like figure out and feel, because it's like they start you on 40, it's like, okay, cool, then like go up to, so I'm on an 80 milligram dose right now, which gives you an idea of kind of how long we've figured it out. And every 2 weeks after going out, 2 or 3 weeks actually after going up on that dose, is like I feel kind of useless for a little while, and why do I feel so shitty? But then after that it has helped. And yeah, I still have to a lot to like work with and deal with and everything like that, but I can focus a lot better, which I was not able to do before. Like I've read so many books this year after going years without being able to read like a full book through all the way, you know?
I am so fucking happy for both of us. Like,
Yeah.
did you as a relatively late diagnosee, did you go through a lot of life wondering why life was so fucking hard for you in ways that it was
dude, yeah, I mean, I still do, and now I kind of have a reason. But I was like, I don't understand why, like, you know, because I would work, right, or I'd go to work and do my thing, and like I worked in the news industry, which thankfully has a pretty high population of like neurodivergents and stuff like that, which, you know, helped me get along because the newsroom atmosphere isn't exactly like a, you know, corporate office environment or anything like that. But like I would get home and be like, okay, I did my stuff and now I want to create, but I'm so tired from just trying to have my mask on all day, and you get out and like it was just like I couldn't understand why it's like, but like I want to do this thing and this thing is right there. But
executive function,
I
baby.
can't, I can't do the thing. I don't understand. And I still deal with that a little bit, but I can, it is so much better than what it was before. So yes, absolutely. I went through I was like, is something wrong with me? Like, what is happening? Like, why does it seem like I can't do my own stuff that other people can very easily do, you know?
One of the first most important things is release yourself from neurotypical standards.
Yep.
I felt like a fuck up and a loser because I could not work an 8-hour day. I could not do it any more than I could pick up like a 300-pound barbell. I felt like I was so broken. Although, like, fun twist, it turns out neurotypicals can't do that either.
Well, I just think humanity is not designed to fucking sit in front of a computer for 8 hours a day, you know?
Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
But one reason that I love that you and I are both very open talking about this is because I basically figured it out because of memes, but because I talk about it. You too?
Well, I had some friends that had gotten diagnosed before I did say like, you know, and like full fucking stick tap to them, because they would say like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. These are the symptoms. These are, you know, how it manifested and how I'm doing. And I would be like, tick that box, tick that box, tick that box.
Same.
Huh. And then, you know, because of that, I started seeing more memes and everything like that. I was like, haha, we're laughing. Wait a second. I think something might actually be wrong.
My first instinct was, when I saw the memes, I was like, that's not ADHD. Everybody's like that. Narrator, everyone is not like that.
Yeah.
And then when I got assessed, I said to the psychiatrist, I was like, my greatest fear is that you're going to say, no, you don't have ADHD, you're just a fuck up.
Yeah.
She said, you have the most severe possible class of ADHD. And the reason why I think it's so important to talk about it is because, to talk about it like without any shame and on whatever platform we have, is because people keep coming up to me and saying, hey, I got diagnosed because of you. Like, no shit. Half dozen people have messaged me on the Mares of Thrace.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
How it came up on the Mares of Thrace Instagram is somebody asked, there was a photo of me on stage and there's just a red piece of cloth tied on my mic. They asked what the significance of it is. And I was like, oh, it's not anything deep. It's a visual reminder to bring my SM57 home or I'll forget it because I have ADHD.
Yeah.
And I see, and the thing is, I have to change it out frequently or I will tune out. The stimulus of the red cloth will become familiar. So I rotate it out.
I know exactly what you mean. My my mom growing up would, you know, if we needed to take something up to our room or need to deal with something, she'd like put it on the steps as like a way, like, so as you're going upstairs, grab this and take it up to your room, right? Which, how many times did we fucking like run past it? And then because it just blended in and it just like, you see it one or two times and then you just forget that it's there. And then it's like a week later, how the fuck have you forgotten? And it's like, I honestly, I didn't even know that it was there anymore.
It's so life affirming and relieving to meet other people who had a similar experience. Like We did it. We made it. We're doing it.
Yeah. I was thinking that I was ADHD for probably about like 3 years before I actually was like able to go get diagnosed. And during that time, I was like, maybe drugs would help. I don't know. I got medicated for anxiety and that helped for a little bit. But then, the depression that I go through was manifesting. At first, it was because of the anxiety, but then it was because all of the, untreated symptoms from my ADHD. And like you were saying, like, I feel like a fuck up. And that just gets you in this like, pool of self-pity or like shit that I just like had a really hard time digging myself out of. And now every day can still be a struggle and there's still things to work on. It wasn't like a magic, hey, you're fixed or anything like that, but it certainly has helped quiet a lot of the like static noise to help me focus on the things that like I really need to focus on. Or even I was thinking about this the other day as far as like, visualizing the things that I actually want to do rather than just fucking like, building the runway as the plane is, or building the plane as it's going down the runway type of deal. That has been huge.
I got it. I'm getting emotional. I'm so happy for both of us.
Yeah. Seriously, it's such a big thing. But and we went on a huge tangent because you started this by talking about the dynamic music that you were listening to and how you were the worst part of ADHD. And then look, as we ADHD'd it and went on some completely other tangent.
This is why it's never surprising that all my best friends get diagnosed. Almost all my best friends get diagnosed because this is our love language. Like, yeah. The cool thing about playing music is you meet so many fucking interesting people.
Yes.
And oftentimes they end up being people that I'm talking to in the capacity that they're asking me about my band. And I'm like, no, but I want to talk about
Yeah. Which is why we have this long form platform because we are still, we're on coup de grace right now. So holy shit. We're at the very beginning of that, so we still have about like 20 minutes left in the album, but holy, like, this has flown the fuck by.
Yeah, we got, hopefully it's gonna fly by for anybody who listens to
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we end up finding each other. Like, a very, very dear friend of mine in the DC area heard me on Mike Hill from Tombs podcast.
Okay.
And he said he wanted to be friends because he heard how I lit up when I talked about, I was actually talking about like fantasy novel covers, but it's that light up that makes, I love seeing that in other people. Like, I don't even care what they're lighting up about.
Yeah.
That makes me want to be people's friend. And that light up is hyperfocus.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I'm a fucking nerd about the music that I do. Cause I had not exactly one-to-one, but kind of a similar type of deal where like I never, successfully played music. I played in bands and all this other stuff. But after college, when the band I was playing in failed, I was like, well, I guess, I went to college to be a photojournalist, so might as well like get a real job and get out of this. So I like didn't do really anything with music for almost like 10 years, even just like listening. I'd listened to basically the same fucking albums I'd been listening to for like through college and at the end of high school until about like 2017. And then I was like, let me try and get back in and see what's been going around a little bit. And then that opened the floodgates again to sort of like, there's been so much good shit that I've missed. Like, let me get in. And then when the pandemic happened, those before times or whatever, I didn't have fucking anything to do other than listen to music. And so much got logged into this brain without even trying because of the hyperfocus. And people would be like, oh, I am so jealous at your ability to like recall sounds or like, say, oh, this band reminds me of this band or that. I was like, dude, that's a neurodivergence, man. Like you don't have, unless you're autistic or neurodivergent, you won't have that unless it's just inherently part of you because I can't fucking help it.
I have to interrogate one thing you just said.
Yes.
You said your band failed.
Yes.
Why?
We were in a weird part of Kentucky and couldn't find members to keep going. And then it was just bad timing as well. So like some members were still in college. I was out of college. People didn't want to play the type of music that we were playing anymore, like all of that other stuff. So what it was like 3 members, we didn't even have like a drummer or anything. We were also like 22. Some of them were still like 20. I was just like, you know what? I don't want, this is a sign. Let me just like, I'm unemployed. I got no prospects. Nothing's going on anywhere. I'm going to start my life after college.
I'm going to repeat something to you. My ADHD specialist therapist said to me, is a relationship necessarily a failure just because it ended?
That is true. I still do talk to my bandmates in there. We're still very good friends, so I consider
But
them some of my
also,
closest friends in the world.
did that experience make your life better? Like, did it make your experience of being alive richer? And
Yes, it did. It did. I can say that
So,
without even thinking about it, you know?
so that doesn't really sound like a failure to me.
It did. We didn't work to get to our goals that we had aspired to, but we fell short despite having a good time together.
Yeah, but
There
every
you go.
band is like, oh, and we're going to be the next Metallica,
Yeah.
and we all fail at that. So I just don't think that's the correct metric to judge failure by.
And you know, this gets back to even you know, our mental health talk about you know, treating myself with grace and changing the language that I speak about myself with is something that I very am still working on today, as far as like, yo, dude, cut yourself some slack. You are your own worst enemy and worst critic, and you know, it's okay if you're not 100% perfect.
All the best people I know are so fucking brutal on themselves the way they are not to any other human being
Because
alive.
everybody else is like, oh my God, you tried. You did the best thing that you could possibly do. And which is why I talk to musicians, and I'm so excited to talk to musicians a lot of times, because you're like, holy shit, like against all odds, right? Like, Thérèse, you just released an album with, you know, a dear friend of yours that people are listening to, and then you're going to go tour it on, you know, in a few months. Like, that is the coolest fucking thing ever. And I love talking to people that have been able to do that.
And taking a break made me appreciate it so much more. Because now oh, that's a good blast beat.
Dude, I was just thinking the same thing. Just the tremolo pickings on there. We almost got a little bit black metal right here.
If you're in a band now, or even if you just like bands and go to shows, like don't take a second of it for granted. Like every moment is a gift. Okay, I have to say one last important thing about ADHD. While the blast beat is okay, this is like I'm living my best life right now, trying to do like guerrilla mental health advocacy while listening to blast beats.
Yeah.
Shocking statistic that made me like tear up the first time I heard it. People with undiagnosed, untreated ADHD live 13 years shorter on average.
Holy fuck.
This is so serious.
I never heard that before. Really?
Russell Barkley, the probably preeminent specialist on ADHD. I heard this on a podcast featuring him. This is not fucking around, man. This isn't a joke. We're not a punchline. Like, this is life or death.
Yeah.
If anybody who's listening to this, any of this sounds familiar, any of this even sounds vaguely like it resonates, go online, find a self-assessment. If the self-assessment, if you check the boxes that say, hey, maybe you should talk to somebody about this, please God, please go. My God, my life got so much better.
Yes. I did those, which always came up as like, yeah, you almost assuredly have it, dude. And then what helped me is psychologytoday.com. If you go on that website, you can type in like what type of mental health things that you're wanting to do, or like what type of things you're wanting to look at, your area, and then it'll give you a list of psychologists or therapists or whatever it was that will be tailored to what you put in. And it could be everything from like, you know, gender dysphoria to like religious trauma to, you know, ADHD or autism, like whatever it is. That is how I found the, you know, psychologists that eventually diagnosed me and started giving me medication. So Psychology Today, that quick self-assessment if you are feeling the executive dysfunction, that you have all this shit that you want to do, but you can't, if you feel like you can't focus on a lot of stuff, because we're not a monolith, right? It manifests in everybody a different way, but there are a lot of signs that you can tell, you know, people who are suffering from ADHD.
I'll tell you my chief tells. If you tell me yours, and maybe anybody listening to this might be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
In school, like I thought it was something for like hyperactive little boys who did not do well academically.
Yes, exactly.
I either got A+, 100%, or I struggled to pass a class, depending on whether I liked it or not. And then, of course, when you do that, the teachers say, she's not living up to her potential. She needs to focus. She needs to apply herself. Shut the fuck up, elementary school teachers.
Yeah.
But that's what hyperfocus is, because when you have ADHD, your nervous system pays attention. It's an attention regulation disorder, not an attention deficit like the name implies. I can't control what I pay attention to. I pay attention to what's interesting to me, not what's important.
Yes.
Like if it's something I love, I will regurgitate Wikipedia verbatim about it. If it's something I don't give a fuck about, trying to care about it is like pulling teeth, man.
Yes.
That was the biggest one. The other one is I'm time blind. I don't understand how the passage of time works. I immensely struggle to be on time. And if I have an appointment, like this, for instance, I'm in this awkward holding pattern all day because being late is so rude.
Yeah, dude, this whole thing is like, well, I have a 3 p.m. meeting, so guess that means I can't really do anything today other than just like think about this meeting that I'm gonna have.
You're worth it though. This
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here, that we were having this conversation.
Other tip-offs. Okay, I suffer in situations where like neurotypical people thrive. Like I cannot hold down a minimum wage job. I can't do it. I can't have a job. I don't care about it. I get fired for making fuck up stupid baby mistakes, but I achieve things that other people find different. I became a video game developer.
Yeah.
Which is intensely competitive and very, very difficult at an intensely high standard of skill, like just to be like a hireable junior. But I can't have a food service job. I've gotten fired from every retail job I've had because I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
But you hyper focus on all the shit that you have to do for the video game developing, which means is like why you can work that crazy demanding type of job, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with being in a band.
Yeah.
Is that all the big tells? That's my biggies.
Yeah. The meeting one definitely does that. Time blindness. I'm not quite as bad as you, but certainly people who know me would never call me punctual in any fucking way. Like, but one of the biggest things for me was emotional regulation. Buddy. Yeah, like I had, lots of temper tantrums going up and like a lot of mood swings even as like a teenager. And then, in my 20s, I was like, I don't understand why I'm depressed all the time, or like why I'm just like, I don't have anything to be depressed about, and like all of this other stuff. And that is because like ADHD really, like you can't control the way that you feel about certain things, which that I think now that we're thinking about it has been the biggest symptom that has been helped by my medication is like the amount of blowups and mood swings and freaking out because of like overstimulation and stuff like that has very much gone down to where like I was fucking like throwing shit against walls and screaming and breaking shit during the pandemic because of like how bad things were mentally and stuff like that, So emotional regulation is another one of my tells.
Just hard same. So I want to give you a giant hug right now, and I also want to suggest like we use really just self-judgy language about it, like calling it like a meltdown or a tantrum. Like that's like you just have big feelings. You're not bad.
I have a lot of big feelings, Thérèse. A lot of big feelings. I don't know what to do with a lot of times.
They're not bad inherently. They're not unreasonable. Like being around my bandmate, Casey is the most even-keeled motherfucker I've ever met. Like, but he doesn't judge me. Like, he's just like gently just held me and just patted me and helped me regulate my breathing when I'm freaking out. And I just said freaking out.
Yeah.
He doesn't judge me. I'm like, maybe I'll try and not judge myself.
Yeah.
Like, he's got like just leveled off feelings. I've got big peaks and valleys. But like, it's just two different ways of being. One's not better. The only reason one is pathologized is because of capitalism.
Yeah. Right.
It's the only reason. Anyway.
Yeah. No, because we're supposed to, like you said, designed to be like pressed down and shoved into this thing to be, to make little tiny things and to like be productive and squeeze all of this money out for, the people who make a fuck ton of money. And that is just not the way that our brains work and the way that we can do.
Robotic consistency was not what anything in nature. We are nature, and it's not anything in nature was built for. Medieval peasant. I wanted to go full Joker when I learned medieval peasants work less than we do. They work seasonally.
Yeah, it's fucking. Yeah, my partner says it all. They're just like fucking like it's modern feudalism that we're in right now. Even worse, modern feudalism, but worse.
Your partner sounds fantastic.
You guys would get along so well for a lot of the reasons that we're talking about, like right now. So.
Damn. See, this is a typically ADHD conversation, like tangent, off of tangent, off of tangent. We're having a great time.
Yes, we are. Which
I
I always feel it as like, just like with music, if I am having a good time in my interviews, generally that means that the people listening are going to have a good time too. So I do that, that light up that you were talking about when we get to, I get to hear about people's passions and shit like that. So.
Okay, I'm gonna do the responsible thing here since we don't have too much more hedge.
Yes.
The reason I brought up having ADHD is because I have discovered that ADHD tendencies are neurotypical tendencies on a shorter timeline.
Mm.
And our brains we process dopamine, we burn through dopamine faster than neurotypical people. Dopamine is the reward and pleasure chemical, so we go seeking the dopamine. And so, in understanding my own brain, I've found what causes dopamine, because if you do this, you can redirect yourself away from a lot of the really harmful coping mechanisms. Lots of people with ADHD, like compulsive behavior, addiction is a real problem.
Yeah.
But you can, if you figure it out, if you know what the problem is, you can troubleshoot the problem. So I just think about, you got to find ways to get that dopamine that isn't insert unhealthy coping mechanism of choice. Surprises.
Yeah. For me recently, like I said, it's been a lot of books, a lot of music, also like for a lot of stuff. And then, these guys, moves, my dog is right here, but like my pets are very, very huge into grounding me and, keeping me centered and supplying that dopamine hit and everything like that. That's why we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. It's because it's just like fill our house full of fuzzy animals.
But it's just, animals are constantly like, yeah, the only reason I have just the one cat is because I go on tour a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, surprises is an enormous source of dopamine for everyone. Like even a bad surprise gives you like a bit of an endorphin payoff.
Mm-hmm.
But if a song takes like an unexpected left turn that I did not see coming, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. And similarly, right, I find that when I write a song, it has the same effect. I love Casey so much, because he's so skilled and so technically proficient. He's like I once read the tigers and zoos, because they're such majestic, complex creatures. They have to give them a lot of enrichment activities. So one thing that this one zoo did is they hollowed out a pumpkin and they stuffed it full of raw hamburger. So the tiger would roll it around the enclosure, batting it and trying to get the hamburger out. Writing interesting song structures is me hollowing out a pumpkin and stuffing it full of hamburger meat.
I love it. It's getting enrichment in your enclosure, which, funnily enough, is something that we say, Autumn and I say a lot. It's just like, I'm not feeling so good today. It's like, well, do you have enough enrichment in your enclosure? Like, have you read? Have you written today? Have you like done this stuff to kind of like get out and create and like make a thing, even if it's like just a little, like I have, talk about neurodivergent. I have Play-Doh on my desk so that like if I need to concentrate, I could just like open it up and just like play and move around and fidget with it and all this other stuff. And then every once in a while, I'll just like make little stick figures or something like that. And that's just like, it helps me, get through the album promos that I need to get through sometimes, or just get through the monotonous tasks that my mind wandered at. Help me like focus on that.
Stimming.
Yeah.
And it's, because if you find good ways to do that, if you understand why you need to do that, you stop doing the harmful shit that so many people with ADHD do because they don't know. I'm like I do all kinds of stimming. I'm a big two drinks at 2 different temperatures and music and podcasts.
yeah, absolutely. We joke about this. It's the 3 drink minimum, which is like water, coffee, then like a smoothie or a juice or something like that. That is me like every morning.
Same. I also have to say, from the sound of it, I love your love, like you and your partner's love. I also love it. It sounds amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we love each other quite a little bit. It's not easy sometimes, but I mean, we've been together fucking 7 years now. 7.5, something like that. So it's the longest relationship either of us have had, and so you would think that there's going to be some learning and growing and figuring out some shit in
Did
between.
We finish the record off.
Yes, we did. Can you fucking believe it?
For a moment, I was like, "Oh God, I picked an hour-long record. Like, what if what if I'm annoying and I'm just annoying this poor man?
But literally, I told you before we started, I was like, people get like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna fucking kill 15 or like an hour and 15 minutes, and then it goes by in a flash. So, fuck yeah, that was incredible. And we had like, we know each other so much better now, don't we? After like talking about that and like fucking like things coming up and just like, you know, connecting both to music and to just stuff that we have both gone through, which is why I fucking love doing this show.
But I can also like, you know, when you talk to people about like mental health stuff and you can feel the despair.
Yeah.
Talking to you, I feel like the hope.
Oh, that might actually be the nicest thing that anybody has ever said to me.
It's the you gotta find that hope, because if you firmly believe things can get better, they fucking can, and they only get better if you believe they can get better. I don't. That's a feedback loop, I guess.
Yeah. I operate in the only way out is through right now, and just like I try to do something just a little bit every day to either further what I want to do or just do it. Because trust me, like knowing where I was at in my head, I can tell you that anybody listening to this, whether you're just like, you know, a music fan or in a band or anything like that, like you can absolutely do the thing. As long as you just like try and do it a little bit. And then, hey, sometimes some of us need a little bit more help in the form of like therapies or medication or whatever. And it helps immensely to get all of that shit out of your head so you can actually focus on the ways of wanting to make you happy and everything like that. I'm still living it. Like, don't fucking, you know, say like, oh, there's, you know, like he's done it, everybody, because like it's still a fucking process, and every day is maybe if not a struggle, every day is at least you know, a little bit of a battle, you know.
Oh my god, the work doesn't finish once you get the diagnosis.
No, it's like I said, it is not a fucking like, oh, hey, I'm medicated now, everything's better. It's like, okay, cool. Now you're at square one so that you can start to fucking build up everything the way it's fucking supposed to be, which is also fucking scary sometimes. But hey, you got to do the work, right?
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess I should let you go about your evening.
Well, I was about to ask, now that we are out of listening to Hedge, thoughts and last words on experiencing this album again for probably like 50,000th time.
Shit. I ran out of words.
Which is a good thing. Whenever anybody runs out of words here, I consider my job done.
It's good, the good shit, the really good shit. You always got to share it. It's just so it's so fun for me. Like we enjoy, you know, that meme that's like you get somebody in the van and it's like, I lied, we're gonna listen to, well, it's usually Hedge. Like me and Casey love tricking people into the van and then making them listen to Hedge.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a formal pretext to do it is wonderful.
Yeah, it's like you're not kidnapping them. You're not like doing anything bad. It's just like the scary stranger danger van is coming, and it's gonna be Thérèse and Casey pulling you in to listen to Hedge. So, which actually you will have an amazing and a good time if you do that.
I do have to ask you a question though.
Yes.
I know that like a professional music listener or a professional music player, you don't like loathe or love or hate. You know, you judge things in a different way, but I know at some point somebody's come on the show and made you listen to something that you were like, oh God, how do you deal with that?
Thankfully, it's only happened once, and the guest I had on was a great person, and there was at least a little bit of good stuff that I could find in it. So thankfully, no one's brought on, oh, who's a band I want to throw under the bus that I don't feel bad about. It's not like anybody's thrown out like a Stained album or something like that, you know? Because I say, like, hey, if you want to focus on heavy metal, that's great, but, you know, if a Dolly Parton album was, like, really instrumental to your upbringing, I'm fine with you bringing that on. No one's brought on, like, Black Eyed Peas or something like that. But I'm not a big Blink-182 fan, and I did listen to the self-titled album with someone on the show before. And honestly, I had a pretty decent time. I have to say, just from hearing his stories and talking about like, oh, listen to this thing, or in here, like this is, you know, when their album where they were starting to like mature a little bit to get away from like the pee pee poo poo like jokes and things like that. But there's always been you know, an element of, you know, one step deeper with this band and stuff like that. So kind of like what you said, I try and see the album through their eyes and kind of experience it like they're listening to it. Once someone brings on that Stained album or something like that, I will let you know on how I got through that. But thankfully, all of the albums that people have brought on have either been like really fucking good, or I've actively been like a fan of. There have been a couple of people that have brought on albums that I'm like, top 10 album of all time, like let's fucking go. I'm probably going to talk about this one more than you are.
Casey and I have a phrase we like to use. Like, I think it's really baby brain to say this sucks or I hate this or whatever, even though like it's okay to feel that way. But
yeah, of course.
We use the phrase, I'm not the intended audience.
Yeah. It's not for me, you know?
More for you.
Yeah, exactly. Which I mean, there are so many things that I listen to as being a, you know, professional music listener and whatnot, a professional music talker about her, that I'm just like, wow, like I could see where this would have an audience, or like that this is actually like objectively good, but just whatever about it is with me is not clicking, and that's cool. Here you go, people. Like,
well, also like if you've come to grips with who you are and your place in the universe, you don't think that your preferences dictate objective worth too.
Yes, exactly.
There's an art to hearing the immense worth in something that is not your personal taste. Like,
yes,
a lot of the stuff Casey listens to, like a Car Bomb, for instance.
Oh yeah.
I have listened to about 1,000,000 times because I listen to many different things. Like I'll listen to one record of like 1,000 bands. He'll listen to one band's entire catalog 1,000 times. Again,
yeah.
Neurotypical versus neurodiverse. I would not put on the Car Bomb record while I'm hanging out by myself, but I can listen to it in the van and be like, this is like immensely artful and thoughtful and like really beautiful and fascinating and challenging in its way. Yeah. It's just not really my bag. And I think it's a good practice, like to just not be a douchebag.
No, exactly. And like I have the philosophy, I'll click play on anything once. I don't have to finish it. Like I used to be like, oh, well, let me like at least get through. No, you know, I'm not going to force myself to sit through an album I don't like, or like when my time could be better served elsewhere. But through streaming and doing, you know, the online music coverage thing and stuff like that, I've been exposed to so many more bands than I would have ever been before. And also just being curious and clicking on stuff that I wouldn't have done beforehand definitely has exposed me to a lot of things that I wouldn't otherwise, because you never know when you're going to find something that surprises you and is going to be your next favorite band.
Yeah, the thing with the ADHD or autism Eye of Sauron is you don't really get to pick what it lands on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like what am I hyperfixating on right now?
And for me, the unmelting dopamine popsicle is just slow, just really bleak ass heavy.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you want slow, bleak ass heavy, The Loss is out now. Everybody, you can go and listen to it. Thérèse, before you go, I want to know real quick, because you are going out on tour with Conan in August through North America, which has got to be so exciting for y'all. But also, I want to know, when people listen to The Loss, there's no right answer for this because everybody's gonna take something different away from it. But when people listen to this album, what do you hope that they take away from it?
That, damn. Oh God, I'm running out of words. Loss is the universal human experience, that if whatever you're grieving in your heart, like, you're not alone. And sorry to regurgitate shit I just said on Instagram. The best way I've ever found through grief is through connection. And like you're God, you're so not alone. And it's I don't want to say it's gonna be okay, because like sometimes it's actually not okay. Sometimes the loss is a thing you limp forward with for the rest of your life. But like there is always a way through. There's hope. There's hope in there somewhere. And it's worth finding, like however you gotta find it.
I love that. And I think that is a perfect place to leave it. Thank you so much for coming on the show and just, sharing your journey with me, talking about music, freaking out about blast beats and space and dynamics and build-ups and all of that stuff that I love in my music. And it's just been so great to get to know you and chat.
I think we're friends now.
Yeah, we have to be. I think by law, by neurotypical law, we are now friends.
High fives to anybody who actually listened to this whole thing.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, look, this is a long form podcast. I knew what I was setting myself up for when I did this, to have yes, I'm going to have an hour and a half long podcast where we listen to a fucking album all the way through. But people will, because they love Mares of Thrace. And I think that I'm going to be sharing a bunch of stuff and quotes from our conversation and everything like that. And I think that hopefully a lot of people will feel less alone. And if we can even get one person to go online to do a self-assessment or something like that, hey, this conversation was all the way worth it.
We'll be high-fiving for the rest of our lives.
Yes, exactly. Well, hey, thank you so much again. And good luck on the road. Be safe. Congrats on the album. And we'll see you on the road whenever y'all come through Nashville, or I'm coming through wherever it is you're at.
Awesome. It's been an obvious, enormous pleasure.
Thérèse Lanz, guitarist and vocalist of Calgary's Mares of Thrace. Such a wonderful human being, a terrific musician, talented video game developer, and just an overall great person. You all got to see us bond in real time, and I appreciate Thérèse for hopping onto the show and sharing her obsession with hedge with me, and just sharing those feelings and emotions about being neurodivergent and ADHD. Awesome shit. Go listen to Mare's new album, The Loss, available everywhere right now via Artifact Records. It adds a little post-metal to the already dirty and doomy sound, which matches the heaviness of the lyrics beautifully, in my opinion. Definitely worth your time, and it would be extremely badass of you to support a band as open and genuine as Mares of Thrace. Also, don't forget to give Hedge's album, We Won't Make It Home, a spin to really and truly appreciate the musicality within. As we mentioned listening to it, it's one of those records that reveals parts of itself to you after multiple listens, and it's able to manipulate your emotions and feelings with just the vibrations in their art. You can check them out at hegi.bandcamp.com or on Instagram at HEGYBand. Finally, Mares of Thrace will be embarking on a 30-city North American tour supporting Doom/Sludge legends Conan. It kicks off on August 22nd at Reggie's in Chicago and runs all the way through September 25th, where it wraps up at the X-Ray Arcade in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Head on over to Conan or Mares of Thrace's socials to check to see if they're coming to a city near you, and if they are, you should definitely go. Please subscribe to the channel or add it to your podcast library if you haven't done so already, and leave us a comment about Hedge, Thérèse, Mares of Thrace, post-metal, or anything that we talked about today. You can reach out to me directly by shooting me an email at spinningthewax@gmail.com, or you can follow me on social at spinningthewax or at StayPuft_Malo on Instagram. Also, consider heading over to patreon.com/spinningthewax to support the show directly. You'll receive early access to these episodes, new music updates every week, pictures of my adorable pets, as well as versions of Spinning the Wax with the album included, so you could listen to it with the guests and I as if you were actually there. So until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay sane, stay heavy, stay puffed!